Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another SLG Meetup. Your host Alvaro to bring you another exciting and successful guest. Today we're going to have with us Pedro Fonseca. He's the communications manager at one of these companies that have been redefining the way that you design and craft exclusive pieces. The company is Boca do Lobo. They are based in Portugal and they've been designing some of the most extraordinary pieces that I've seen. They have this unique craftsmanship, and he's going to tell us how they've been able to build a niche for themselves and place their pieces in some of the most exclusive hotels and homes.
Olá, Álvaro.
Pedro,
How are you?
¿cómo va? ¿Todo bien?
Tudo bem, tudo bem. We can speak a little Spanish and Portuguese
uh,
here if you want
Portañol,
to.
Portañol, that's it.
Portugal, exactly,
Yeah. Well,
exactly.
I'm from Madrid, so I'm not too far from Porto, where you guys are at. So,
Yeah, you should take a visit sometimes when you get out of Miami. You want to
you
come to
know,
Madrid?
I would love to see what you guys have going on in there because it's very spectacular, the pieces that you work with. I mean, just to summarize it, is the art of designing and crafting exclusive pieces. And for those that are not familiar with Boca do Lobo, I recommend to check out their Instagram page, their website, because your pieces are phenomenal. And the story behind it, right, which is what makes it so special.
Exactly. And we take a lot in consideration, not only the pieces itself and the design, but as you said, and greatly, the story behind it, because we don't want to be the kind of a company that only sells the pieces,
Mm-hmm.
want to show a little bit more, and in the world of luxury that you know so well too, that's what makes the difference too. So yeah.
That's what really got me intrigued about your company, the pieces that you work with, and you being in the communication department, just to look at the story behind what you guys are doing, because I was drawn into it. It kind of put me back into the ancient times when they were like crafting all these pieces by hand, and you're doing that, but bringing it also into a contemporary art. So it's a very unique fusion. And I was just wondering if you could share a little bit about the history of Boca do Lobo.
Of course. So the brand was built in 2005, and it's from Porto. And actually, the CEO is also from Porto. So everything is here and everything is around here. And what's so important about this is that we can keep that type of tradition that you spoke so well about. Because people, when we make some events, and we also like to receive you here too, if you had the chance one time, and people love to see, for example, Mr. Fernando doing the work that he does so well, and they look and they know that he's been doing that his whole life. And you might also think that, okay, but maybe a lot of people can do some of the work that we do here, and they might. But if you take a really close look at everything they do, how they do it, why they do it, and not only the story of the piece, but the story of the person that's doing it behind it. For example, we have some pieces with hand painted tiles. It's called azulejo. Don't know if you're familiar with the term. Uh, and the mister that does it, he's been doing that his whole life in his own house. Actually, I had the chance to visit his house when we made one of the pieces. I can even show it to you after. Um, one of the pieces that we took to Isaloni with the hand painted tiles, and he does everything by hand. He knows what he's doing. Sometimes he's explaining even to me that I'm trying to sell that product, and sometimes I get lost on what he's doing because he does it with such passion, and that's also what sells too, that type of
Mm.
history and the craftsmanship too.
I love what you said there, Pedro, about passion, right? Because every piece represents so much passion that has been put into it, so much history, so much craftsmanship. And when I look into some of the videos that you've posted as well, because you've become very viral on social media, you have a big following across all social media platforms. And I think that at the end of the day is what people feel that they're getting when they connect with your brand is that passion of Fernando and the the craftsmanship power into the pieces. And I think that people at the end of the day they're dragged into something like that, and also they end up buying from that they want a piece of that passion of that history into their living room, into their hallways, into their establishments. So I see a lot of the pieces have made it into a lot of these incredible hotels and buildings all around the world. So I think the trajectory and how brands are differentiating themselves these days with the story.
Exactly. And for example, let me say one thing. You might have seen some news of the movie, the 50 Shades of Grey too.
Yeah.
That's when we started to get that little bump, you know. And I actually have the piece too right by my side. It's this one. It's the
Oh,
symphony.
yeah,
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 it's
yeah,
the
yeah.
symphony sideboard,
Huh.
you know. So, and it's like you might look at it, and people when they come here, they see the pieces and they know the craft. They can feel it even through images. And we sell to every part of the world. So it's sometimes it's hard for people to see the pieces before they arrive, you know, to see it in flesh, let's
Mm.
say. But when they come here and they see the piece, they look at the details, even the professionals, the interior designers, the architects, they look at it, they touch it, and they say, okay, now I understand. And that's a big, that I would say that would be the hardest part of this job, is to show people the difference between what's mainstream, let's say mainstream design, and what we do here. What how do we differentiate? You know?
So let me ask you about the process, right? Because I mean, I see a lot of these companies that at the end of the day, they also design a lot of these pieces, but they're not exclusive because it's a manufacturer. They do like thousands and thousands of pieces that are the same. Now, are all the pieces that you do different, or you have different lines that it's similar products, or how does it work?
You might want to get the same product, but you can't. And why? For example, let's say we have one armchair. It's called the Imperfectio. That's hammered. So how can I give to you? So in a very simple way, how can I give to you Sir Fernando, Mr. Fernando, to hammer in exactly the same
Yeah.
place and in the same way that he did in the last one? He can't. He just can't. You know, and that's also a big part of what we show too. That sometimes the pieces might have, I wouldn't say flaws, you know, but they are not perfect as everyone would like to see, because they're not manufactured in such a big way as we
Hmm.
usually see in right now too. They're made hand by hand. They pass through a lot of different people that have made not the same piece but similar pieces before, but it's never the same. Even the unpainted tiles,
Hmm.
you can't draw with the same and precise movement that you do in one and another. It's impossible.
Right. No, I mean, I love that. That's the exclusivity right there. You
Exactly.
want your uniqueness, you want to have something that is one of a kind, and that's what really sells. Now, when you're going through this process, if I'm looking to get a piece, do I go through a process? Like how is the process of getting these pieces out to the world? Let's say I want to have one. You select from a catalog and then you build on that, or you build a product and then I buy it?
It really depends on what you want, but for example, let's use examples here to be more specific. If you want to enter in contact with us, you can do it via Instagram, for example. And where we started speaking on Instagram, you can go directly to the website, but you'll always start speaking with a person. That's very important to us, because we want to be with you on the full process,
Mhm.
before, during, and after too. So you're always speaking with someone, not a machine, not an automatic answer. You know, you're always speaking with someone, and that little part, it makes a big difference. So we want to know, what do you want to do? Okay, you might want a piece, but this is not a buy from impulse. It's
Mhm.
different. So you want to know, okay, you want this piece, but how do you want it? What do you want to do with it? How do you
Mhm.
want to feel when your friends, for example, let's say, arrive at your home, and you want to show them the piece? Because I would like
Yeah,
to show
of
one of
course.
these pieces to my friends. So what do you want with that? And then, because we have so much experience with this kind of product, we'll try to help you understand what's really good for you. We're just not looking to sell, you know, because this is
Gotcha.
such an exclusive piece. And if you're not treated properly as you want to and you deserve to, you won't be happy with the buy just made. So want to be with you during all the process.
No, it makes sense. When it comes to product placement, a lot of companies these days that they have a beautiful product, they want to place it in the right setup, right? And this is something that it brings attention, it creates credibility, authority, whatever the case might be. In your case, you were just giving an example about the 50 Shades of Grey and how you've had your product in a lot of iconic setups. So how important has been for you product placement, and how do you find the right place for you to put these products?
It really depends on the markets we're in. For example, now we just opened 2 showrooms this year. One in Marbella, actually is close to you,
Yeah.
and one in Monaco too is really recent. So we study the market itself and what the market wants, because we don't just want to get in. You know, we want to see first what people do really want, and how can Boca Lobo fit in and be a bigger thing. How can we be useful to that market? So, and also one of the markets we're growing up really fast, and it's being great, is Brazil too.
Okay.
It's close to where you are, right?
Yeah.
So, and yeah, we just look at that, the markets that are looking for us. What do they want? Also the trends. We're also looking for new trends. For example, we have some new marble pieces, because this year marble is just a trend, you know.
Yeah.
Like Scandi style too, but with us is the marble touch. And how can, for example, in marble, what market likes it so much? What market is impersonating the sales in that way? Because we believe, for example, the US really likes those marble stuff. We have a great designer, Greg Natal. He does great works with marble. So we have a piece for it. Can we? Yeah, we can. So how are we going to place it in the market? We have the showrooms. We can have resellers, ambassadors, all those types of things that keep the clients closer to us, because we just not only not losing the client, of course we don't want that, but we want to keep it in a great relationship. You know, we want to keep a great relation with the client, because the best publicity, let's say, is from mouth to mouth.
Right.
So it doesn't get
No, I
better
mean,
than that.
I love that. You know, you end up building that referral network based on the quality of the relationships and the quality of the service that you're offering through your products. And one of the things that is interesting is that a lot of people, they stay comfortable, they stay local. You guys have had over 200 exhibitions, you have these showrooms all around the world. And you mentioned something about the partnerships and having those ambassadors, because it's critical that you're working with different architects, different designers, different developers, people that at the end of the day are going to have to refer some sort of pieces to their final and end product, which is the building, the house, the hotel, whatever it is, right? So I think that for those listening that are trying to get their product out there, it's important to build a brand the way that you've done it, have the story behind so it becomes more attractive. But what is it exactly at the end of the day that you guys are doing over and over to maintain those relationships? Because you can work with somebody, but then they will go to somebody else. Like, how do you repeat that over and over? Because I've seen some of the hotels, for example, work with you, and then they want to work with you in the next hotel and in the next hotel. So that trust and that ongoing relationship, what's the key?
So I will start with this. If you and you hear it a lot of times, if you talk the talk, you gotta walk the walk, right? So if our basis is on exclusivity, customization, all the bespoke pieces we made. We know how to work with big clients, with professionals, as you said, like big hotels too. We don't have any problem working with anyone all around the world. For example, the country that's most far away from here, it's Australia, and they're opening a showroom in Sydney with some of our pieces too. So, and we don't have a problem with that. And I believe the key word here is confidence, you know, because you're talking with a very specific type of design, type of furniture. And it's not every day that you see a company that can bring you this confidence to continue doing work. And let's see, in the perspective of a professional interior designer, would you, if you see you have a company that fits you so well, that gives you a good good promotion, let's say, and security through the pieces and how we work with that. Would you like to switch from that? How can we as a
Right.
company too, keep helping you? We know you're a designer, we know you're better doing that job than we are, of course, but how can we help you? How can we give you something that others can't? And that's what we do with the pieces too, because you might see some pieces you talked about too, the ones with the hand painted tiles, the ones with the hammering. We can offer that, and we know that no one else can.
Mm.
Okay, but now related to the second part of the business, as you spoke about, what can we do with that? So that's what we do. Those type of, I believe the confidence is the key.
I love that. Now, I'm curious to know because you've done, as you mentioned, so many unique pieces that it's also just for the 1%, like the 0.01%. Like it's a very sophisticated, elegant, high-end product. So you have a niche market, and within that market, there is also different levels. So what's been the most expensive piece that you've ever made?
Okay, so let's see. I would probably say it's one safe, and it's 100K. 100K. Yeah.
That's it, and it's a safe.
Around, yeah, it's around 100K.
Okay.
It's a safe, yeah. It opens to the sides.
Nice.
Exactly.
Very interesting. I mean, look,
We actually showcase it in the events, in the factories. We have one, and we actually showcase it for everyone to show, like, see, this is the safe we talk about.
huh. When are you guys coming to Miami for our Basel or having you here for
Is that an invitation?
come on. Why not? Let's have you here. It will be nice.
Okay.
We need that disruptiveness here in Miami. No, but all in all soreness, I think that you have done a great job telling the story. If those that have not followed you yet, please make sure you guys do because the pieces, the story, the way that it's engaging, not just on Instagram and TikTok and all these other platforms, but it's very cool to see how you guys are doing it. I'm a big fan of craftsmanship and to see the traditional origins of the ancient way of crafting and doing all this into now the contemporary art. I mean, it's the evolution, right? And I think that you've done that very well. So, what's next for Boca do Lobo?
That's a great question. So now I'll put this in two parts because we just don't want to be only the statement part because it's hard when we work with statement pieces and it might seem fun at first. But let's say we want to put your house with, let's say you want more pieces from Boca do Lobo. And it's a lot of egos working in the same place, you know? So how can we make it work? And that's what we're working on.
Got
So
it.
that's the next step, you know? In those million-dollar, multi-million-dollar projects, how can we make Boca Lobo working everywhere? You know, we're working on that too.
There's
And
a lot
then
of those properties here in Miami, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, we'll keep in touch in that for sure. And I believe the second part is we have some designs that we want to risk a little bit more, you know, because we have some great designers, have a great team, and around along the years we have made some great pieces, and we want to explore that a lot more. Those families, let's say, that we created, we believe we can do a lot more in that, explore some combinations too, and take the risk because that's what we do best. So we'll keep in
Hey, that's where the big rewards come, right? When
exactly.
you bet on yourself, bet on the product, and have a little bit of risk in there. So the last question I would like to ask you, Pedro, and I ask this to all of our guests: what does luxury mean to you?
Okay, so to me, that's a great question, and I must say, first, at the beginning, I believe comfort is the first part. But for me, and with what I learned from here, I believe the key word here is time. And
Time.
why? Because I always think, and we see a lot of movies and growing up, like big people, and let's say you have money to buy everything in the world. Let's say that. And money is not a problem to you, so nothing's everything was worth the same, you know, because if you have money to buy everything, you don't need to worry about it. Everything's worth the
mm,
same. So
mm,
what can't you buy? Time. And what do I offer? I offer the time that's, let's pick him up again, bring him back, Mr. Fernando. You buy the time that he puts into the work, because we're not only talking about minutes, hours, days, or even weeks in some of the cases of the pieces. You buy that, and you feel that too, and that makes you feel great, I believe. You also buy the, you also have the time that we dispose, and we, as we said before, and you asked me about it in a great way. What do you do in the second part of the business? How do you get in touch with people? How do you treat them? We give you that time because it's precious to you and it's precious to us. That's what we do the best. We give you the confidence and the structure to make a great project and to bring these pieces to your projects, you know, if you're a
mm.
final buyer or a professional. And I believe that's it. Yeah.
I love it. And you know what I see? I see Fernando coming into one of our properties here in Miami
I
and
will,
doing a specific
I'll
craftsmanship there
try to
live.
bring him.
Hey, where everybody's like looking, and that's how, you know, you actually create a legacy for not just Fernando, but the brand and everything else that goes behind it. Because I feel like what you said in here, in a nutshell, is the storyline behind the product, and seeing it live or seeing the passion and the art and the history of whatever the artist is putting into these pieces is what's really taking it home for everybody that is acquiring these pieces. So, hey, invitation right there. Having here a completely unique experience of getting one of these pieces finalized, and then we will put it in one of these homes, and that's it, you know. And I think that people will definitely remember the experience and connect more with the product.
That's it. Thank you so much, Alvaro. Yeah.
No, I
Um,
appreciate the time, Pedro. And look, I also want to check out your manufacturing and what you guys have going on in Porto. So
Absolutely.
whenever I go back home in Madrid, maybe I'll do a quick pit stop in Porto and
Sure, let's
visit.
keep in touch for
Amazing.
sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And we'll stay in touch to make the next steps happen.
Thank you, Alvaro, and thanks everyone, and see you.
Bye bye.